team, welcome to day 3 of the 10 days to quick cash. Now we tried to do this as a live stream just a few minutes ago, but unfortunately the audio and the internet was so bad that you guys couldn't hear me and I kept dropping in and out and I don't want to waste your time. So what I've done is I've just quickly put together a slide deck for today and then what I'm going to do is record these and upload them for you as well just because the internet's really bad at the moment. So let's jump straight into it and I'll give you a quick review. So day 1 was all about goal setting and I asked you to consider how much would make a meaningful difference to you in your life. Considering that $50 a week, if you can save $50 a week, which is a tiny amount of money, if you can save $50 a week, that's $2.5 grand a year. If you can save $100, that's $5,000. If you can save $200 or $300 or $500, you get up to $20,000 or $30,000 you can save, and that's what we're going to look at today. Then yesterday, I asked you to print out 90 days of your bank statements, your transaction history for the last 90 days, and I wanted you to calculate exactly what you were spending on necessities, on quality of life, on splurging, on wasted money, and then also on interest for debt repayments as well. So necessities being the cost of food and shelter and the necessities of life. Quality of life being the things that you do in your life that you don't need to do, but they're important for you the way you live life. It might be, for example, for me, I have a coffee a day, or maybe 2. So these are part of the quality of life. You might have a date night that you do. You might send your kids to private school. It's not a necessity, but it's part of the quality of life that you want to have. Splurging is money that you spend that you didn't need to spend. You just did it because you wanted to. So, today I lost a pair of headphones. I was going to buy a new set of pods, but we decided instead not to because I didn't actually need a new set of headphones. I'd lost the pods that I had. So that if I'd spent that money, $250 to buy new pods, that would have been a splurge. It's not quality of life. It's not a necessity. It's a splurge. Then you've got money that you're wasting, things that you've been spending money on, but you haven't even realized you were spending money on. It might be gym memberships you haven't attended, or subscriptions to streaming sites like Netflix or Stan that you're not even utilizing, or Spotify, for example, you don't even access. These are all things that we can have. Now, if you're using them, and if the rule is if you haven't used it in the last 90 days, it's a waste. You're not going to use it if you haven't used it. And the same thing, you should look at your wardrobe like that as well. If you haven't worn it in the last 90 days, there's no point you having it. It's time to get rid of it. And then finally, we wanted you to calculate how much are you spending in interest payments. Now, if you have credit cards, personal loans, or a home mortgage, you've got an interest and a principal component. The principal component is the amount of money that you're spending to pay down the loan every week or every month. The interest component is how much the bank is charging you to basically hold their money. And so the same principle applies here. We want to make sure we break that down because today we're going to look at how do you save money by stopping, substituting, and negotiating. Okay, 3 steps: stop, substitute, and negotiate. So the rule of thumb is this. If you're in a position where you have all of your debts fully paid off, you're investing at least 10% of what you earn, then you don't need to do a stop. Okay? Now, many of you will. Dealing with hay fever. If you're in a position where you've paid off all your debts and you're investing at least 10% of what you earn every single week, then you don't need to do a stop. So stop is optional. But for most of you, I guarantee you, you haven't paid off all your debt and you don't have an investment plan. So if you don't have those things, then you need to do a stop, which means this. I want you to write down and list all of your splurge money and all of your wasted expenses, and you are going to immediately cancel, suspend, delete, or remove them. The rule is if you haven't used it in the last 90 days, it's gone. There's no ifs or buts about it. And I want you to tally up how much money you've saved. So that's step number 1. Literally cancel, suspend, delete, or remove them. Call them up, let them know you're not using the service anymore. If you need to pay out an early exit fee, do that, but do whatever you need to do to stop, cancel, suspend, or remove them, because if you haven't used them, you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. Now, if you have paid down all your debt, you're debt-free, and if you've also been in a position where you're investing, then you can continue to splurge because you've already allocated. But if you haven't, we want to get rid of it. We want to clean up the shop. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is then to substitute. And so I want you to list all of your necessities or quality of life expenses, and then consider what do you actually really need. If it was the difference between you having this and paying for your mortgage, what would you have, right? And so you've got to find things that you can substitute. So for example, you might, instead of having a date night and going out to the movies and a dinner, which costs you $50 or whatever for the movies, and then the dinner and date night's another $100, so you spend $150 a week. $150 a week is $7,500 a year. That's a luxury holiday anywhere in the world. So you could have date night, but you could do it at home and make a beautiful meal and watch Netflix. It's not going to be the same as $150. Instead of getting Uber Eats in, you meal prep. as opposed to having the latest and brand new phone, you realize actually you've been out of contract. I realized I was out of contract for 12 months and I've been spending $250 a week on $250 a month on a plan. And there was actually a cheaper plan out. So then my current plan's $40 a week, $40 a month. So you can substitute. You can go for an espresso machine as opposed to Brewster coffee. When I realized that I was drinking 3 coffees a day is $15 a day. Over the course of 7 days is about $100 a week. That's $5,000 a year that I was spending on coffee. If I get rid of one of the coffees from that, I'm saving myself $25 a week. And if I'm saving myself $25 a week, then things start to change really powerfully. And so I want you to understand that we don't want you to have to get rid of these things because obviously some of them are going to be absolute necessities, essentials. But we want to be able to make sure you can still have these great things. You just substitute them for something that's cheaper and you can still have a great experience. In many cases, you can easily get it. You just actually haven't put in the time to consider it. So that's step number 2. And then step number 3 is to negotiate. Now, if you've got any of the following, and many of you will have all of the following, you're probably being ripped off. Health insurance, pet insurance, car insurance, mortgage, credit cards, personal loans, home and contents insurance, travel insurance, internet, and then, of course, phone plans. And that's just to mention a few. I'm sure there's some things in there that I've said that you didn't think of, and also some things I haven't said that you have that I don't know about. And so here's the steps, 3 steps to success. Number 1. I want you to list all of those things. This is where the debt component comes into it, and it's also where your insurances, your phone plans, and your ongoing utilities, including, by the way, even water and electricity these days are also part of this. So step number 1 is I want you to research. It's going to take you a couple of hours, but I promise you it's going to be worth thousands of dollars to you in the next 12 months if you follow these steps. And please do it. It's going to be difficult for some of you, but you're going to save thousands and thousands of dollars. So step number 1 is to research how much you're currently paying for and what are you actually getting. So if you've got a phone plan, for example, what are you currently paying for your phone bill every month and what are you currently getting for your money? The second step is you want to consider what's the very best deal available online for your company that you're currently with right now and their number 1 competitor or competitors. So if you're considering insurances, there's a variety of places online that you can get insurances from today. And a quick Google search will tell you that. If you're looking at credit cards, for example, current credit cards will have what's known as a balance transfer free period where you can transfer your interest from one credit card to another and they'll give you interest free for 12 to 18 months in many cases. So you want to find out as much information as you possibly can, have a variety of quotes and a variety of different pricing points so you know your very best options as well. You put in the hard work now, and I promise you're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Then step number 2, once you've armed with your ammunition, once you've armed yourself with some really powerful tools and data, you're going to call your current provider, your current company, and you're going to explain what you've discovered in step number 1, and you're going to let them know the following options. Step number 1 is they either give you the very best deal of any company online right now, or option number 2, that you'll be moving your house, car, phone, credit card, pets, or whoever it is, or whatever you've got to the other company. And then step number 3 is that you win because they say, no problems, we'll keep a hold of your business. Now, I'll explain the simple steps. Step number 1, research. Get as much ammunition as you possibly can. Step number 2 is call up your current provider and explain that they are fleecing you and that your insurance is actually more expensive for you than what it is online. Your phone plan is more expensive for less than it is online. You're currently paying 18% in credit card payments when the current card that you're with as well is offering balance transfers for free for 12 or 18 months, or Westpac or NAB, whoever you bank with, for offering a great deal of something of that nature. There's so much of this available, and it's all available for free online for you to check it out as well. So you're going to call your current provider and explain, hey, look, I'm with you. I'm a valuable customer of whatever organization. If you want to keep my business, I want you to honor the deal that you've got online. Now, here's the first thing that's important to be aware of. Banks, insurance agencies, any of the utility providers, they are trained to tell you no in the nicest possible way. So I guarantee you that the 99% accuracy that the first person you speak with is going to say no. They know that normally 99% of people that speak to them are going to just take that as the reality and go, well, I've just got to suck it up. And you don't. So what I want you to do is I want you to speak to a manager, a supervisor, or someone who is in charge. Literally, you say to them this: appreciate that. I've actually heard that I can get this cheaper, and I want to be able to stay with you. So who do I need to speak with in order to be able to sort this out? Can I speak to your manager or your supervisor, please? They're going to say, look, they're going to tell you the same thing. I appreciate that. I want to speak to the manager or the supervisor immediately. Thank you so much. And literally just ask to speak to the manager and supervisor. I promise you that 100% of the time, I'm yet to have a client do this, by the way, and it not work, but 100% of the time when the person speaks to the manager or the manager or the supervisor will either get rid of it completely. Now, when you're with a utility provider or an insurance company, you're going to save thousands of dollars in premiums. When you're doing this with a credit card, by the way, let's say you've got a $20,000 credit card. Now, $20,000 at 18%, which is the standard interest rate, is sitting at around $4,000 a year, by the way, right? And the $4,000 includes interest as well at 20%. Now, 9 times out of 10, what will happen is, if they don't give it to you for no interest, then what they will do is they'll give it to you at 0.9% interest on your credit card. The same can apply for mortgages, personal loans, car loans, all of these types of things as well. Call up your lender and tell them that you want them to lower the interest rate to 0 for the next 12 to 18 months based on what you've seen online. Go for the lowest and cheapest price point. And if they don't give it to you for 0, they'll give it to you for a very, 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 very low percentage point. Now, I've only had one client in the whole time I've done this that didn't get it down to 0 because she asked the question. But what I encouraged her to do, and I'm going to get you to do as well, is if that still doesn't work, hang up, call them back, and ask to speak to the financial hardships line. And they legally actually have to reduce your payments for a minimum of 6 months, but in many cases will do it for longer than that as well. So we're doing this because the banks and the insurance agencies make billions of dollars in profits from everyday people like ourselves. And so I want you to be able to put yourself back into the capacity to win. And what most people don't realize is if you're not paying down your debts, you don't have that surplus money. Even if you move it and use it on a holiday, that money is actually going to allow you to do new things. And if you don't do it, it's going to move you further into debt. So step number 1, let's go through this. Step number 1 is stop. Go through your splurge and your wasted expenses and immediately cancel, suspend, delete, or remove them and tally how much you've saved. Step number 2, then find substitutes or replacements for all of your necessities and quality of life expenses. And again, tally up how much you've saved. And then step number 3 is negotiate your ass off, baby. Go out there, do your research, call up your current providers and all of the things I've just mentioned and ask them to get rid of it. And by the end of this, you'll become a pro at this and you'll save thousands and thousands of thousands of dollars. So the homework is very, very simple. I want you to tally up how much money you've saved across either stopping, substituting, or negotiating, and put this into a dollar per year category because you're gonna save cars, you're gonna save holidays. In some cases, you might even save houses with the amount of money you guys are spending on things. So I want you to post up your results in terms of dollars per year. If you're saving now $100 a week here or a couple of $100 a month here, add it all up and then figure it out. What is the total amount of money that you've saved over the course of the next 12 months or 12 months? And then I want you to get ready because we're going to put together a plan to pay down debts if you've got them. And if you don't, we're going to look at fast tracking your way to financial freedom. Get the homework done today, guys. This is going to be a lot of work. But it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that you're going to be saving by just simply following these steps as well. Get it done. Post up your results. And I can't wait to see how much money you're going to save in the next 24 hours. See you later, guys.